Hey everyone, it's Brandon from VK Milling and Hardwoods. Welcome back to the channel today. It's just going to be kind of a talking head update. There hasn't been, since last week, really the ability to do much. A couple of things. It's been raining so much here. I think we got about 19 days worth of rain in the month of February, and March hasn't been much better. I'll have to take a look, but I think we're about 12 days into March, and I think it's probably rained 6 or 7 of those days. And when it wasn't raining, the cold front moved in and the temperature dropped nicely. But all that aside, the biggest update that I have for you is we have a new child in the house. There's a new member to the Viking-blooded Craftworks family. Her name is Freya Rose, and this is her beautiful, smiling, chubby little face. And we love her very dearly. There were some issues. And she had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days. But we've finally gotten her back home, and we've gotten into a routine now, and I'm slowly but surely getting back to work. So hopefully the sun will stay out. Looking at the weather report, it doesn't look like that. It looks like we're going to have some rain come in day after tomorrow, and it's going to stay here through the weekend. So just more of this crap. An update to the huge pallet order videos that I put out. So we ended up not actually making the deadline on that project. And it really was just a culmination of way too many things occurring all at one time. In terms of being able to be out here working, February was not a good month for it, and the beginning of March was not a good month for it. Like I said earlier, we had 19 days of rain, and although I can work in the rain, and I do when I have to, it slows down production rates, and I can deal with that because I'm still going. I'm still churning things out. I'm still getting things done. But what really ends up happening is the logging companies aren't working, the tree services aren't working, and my log supply dwindles very, very, very quickly. And that was the biggest problem that I had. In the last video, I showed one log delivery coming in, and then shortly after that there was another log delivery that came in, but it was only a few small ash logs, and only one of them was even actually millable for what I needed, and all of the material that came out of it was super stressed. It looks like something that was produced by Thick and Thin Lumber Company. I couldn't get straight boards out of any of the ash logs that I milled. I was able to chop most of them down into smaller sections, but I still had to massively compensate while sawing to deal with the log and the cants just moving all over the place. And those are the last 2 log deliveries that I got. And so I had to try to go outside of my normal vendors to get logs. But, even they were saying, it's at least a week out, and that's barring any more rain coming, but then rain would come. Or, they were outside of my price range, or they were, telling me things like, oh, well, you've got to order X amount of material from us, that kind of stuff. When you're dealing with logging companies, one of the issues that you have as a small sawmill is that they want volume. they want you to buy multiple truckloads per day from them, or they really don't want to deal with you because they can go cut, relatively cheap stuff, pulpwood, you name it, and drive it up the road to Bowater, which is a paper mill up the highway, and Bowater will buy every single truck from them, and they can just deliver. And they don't make as much off of those loads as they would, say selling a hardwood load to me, but it's guaranteed. They're going to buy everything. And then, in terms of hardwoods, because that's pulpwood stuff, but in terms of hardwoods, if they come across a bunch of those and they have, truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of them, there are several pallet manufacturers as well as railroad tie producers that will just buy everything they bring them. And so it makes it more difficult to procure logs when your normal services aren't out working and bringing you stuff. And you've got to go to those kinds of vendors, but you pay a premium for it. And if you're not ordering volume, they may not deal with you at all. So I had a fairly big problem procuring logs. And so I ate into some of my stacks and I cut what I could from material that I had here, but that just didn't work out. And so we got about 2/3 of the way through the contract, and the deadline came and went, and there was just nothing that I could do about it. So between the rain, the loggers, and the tree services not working, my help here at the shop getting sick, there was a bout of strep throat that ran around the shop. All the kids had it, and then my business partner had it as well. And then now everybody apparently is down with the flu. And, it's just been brutal. It's one of those comedy of error kinds of things. So, loggers not working, tree services not working, not getting log deliveries in here, raining just constantly for the last 5 to 6 weeks. And then to top that off, my new baby girl born on the 3rd, she took up a lot of time too. And I don't mind it. It's not a problem. But those kinds of things all affect whether or not you're actually able to get the job done. And so, we missed the deadline, and there wasn't anything that I could do about it. So I do have a lot of scraps laying around, a lot of stuff that was cut for them that is now just going to get stacked and probably sold. The company that I was working with and I are going to have to negotiate to, come up with an agreement on having fulfilled part of the contract, but not the entire thing. And we're going to have to negotiate on future contracts if there are any. So it sucks, but those are the breaks. Those are the things that happen. You can't stop real life. I can't change the weather, and I can't make people who already work in the most dangerous industry in the world, I believe, work in even more dangerous conditions. So, I wish I could change it, but I can't. So that covers what's happened the last few weeks. Now I would like to talk about what I'm going to try to do over the next couple of weeks if, the rain can hold out and if I can actually get some working time out here. I do want to try to produce more videos for you all. But there's some videos that I've been mulling around in my head, or some video series that I've been mulling around in my head as to how I want to go about doing them. And I've finally kind of decided how it is that I want to do it. And so I'm listing the various subjects that I want to cover and how I want to do those things. Now, I don't script this stuff out. Most of you will be able to tell that from the way that I speak and how I do things. But these will be a little bit more scripted, not fully written out, reading off of a screen next to it or cue cards or something like that, but kind of, you know, here's all the stuff that I need to talk about in this time frame and more formatted. That's a better way of saying it. There'll be more format to those rather than, you know, just spewing stuff off at the top of my head. And so, yeah, so I have several different series in my mind that I want to try to film. Some of them are going to be refilmings. I recently did an entire series. It was 64 videos, short videos, on how to completely and totally realign an LT35 from start to finish, and all the little intricate details and all the minutia that you would need to know, you know, which tools and what is the easiest way I found to do this, etc. So I did this whole 64-part series that showed all of that stuff, only to find out later that my lav mic that I had on my collar and on my hat stopped working and recorded no audio whatsoever. So I can either redo all of those or I can dub over it. I'm not a big fan of dubbing over it because I'm doing a lot of talking to the camera, and if my lips are moving like this, but the audio is out of sync with it, it just looks ridiculous. And this is not a kung fu movie, so I don't think I'm going to do that. But I'm also not going to go back through the process of realigning the mill. I will, however, do some videos on general maintenance stuff, whether it's checking hydraulic hoses, you know, getting the bearings changed out in your blade guide rollers, doing an oil change on the mill, checking the belt, swapping out, you know, a drive belt, general maintenance kind of stuff, and I'll put those out there. I'm also looking at building a saw shed over a lot of this area, so that way this summer when it's 100 degrees outside, I can have, you know, something to block the sunlight, and I can have a couple of fans hooked up that are blowing air through, and that kind of stuff. And then I had this idea a while ago for a dust collection system for the sawmill so that I don't have to spend as much time trying to clean up all this sawdust everywhere. But I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and I hadn't really found any good videos about it working. So I looked at a lot of different forum posts. I looked on Facebook, and I finally talked to somebody who has almost exactly the kind of setup that I'm looking at building. And so I'm probably going to go through that process of setting all that up and getting that all working with the LT35 so that all of my dust can go from the dust chute straight into the garbage bin, and then it can get shipped out of here rather than it going onto the ground and then I have to stop every hour and a half, 2 hours to shovel that stuff out of there, or try to come through with a piece of plywood on the forklift and scoop up as much as I can to then go dump it in the dumpster. I have tried giving it away. There are horse farms and cattle farms and chicken farms and you name it, all up and down through this area here. But I either don't produce the volume that they need. One chicken farm told me that they would purchase 50 tons or more of sawdust at a time for their chicken coops. And I don't produce 50 tons of sawdust. I don't think I've produced 50 tons of sawdust in my entire career. So, yeah, that doesn't work out. And so I've talked to some of the horse breeders and stuff like that, but they're very, very specific with what it is that they want. And, you know, they want sifted sawdust that doesn't have this species in it, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm not 100% sure that I want to go that route. So for now, it all just goes into a big trash bin, and then they come pick it up and it's gone and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So the saw shed, right? The dust collection system. And then I want to do more videos on wood species, characteristics of those various woods, the characteristics of cutting those various woods, as well as stacking, selling those woods, whether it be green or dry. I'm going to do some more woodworking videos, and maybe we'll be able to get it done, and maybe we won't. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to try. I'm going to try to at least put out a video a week. My target, my personal goal for growing the channel and growing content is to try to be able to get stuff up there twice a week or more. And my wife and I have discussed everything, and I'm going to be at home at least one day a week to take care of our daughter. And that provides me the opportunity to actually be able to sit down and spend a day editing videos. Excuse me. Coffee. But that'll provide me the time to be able to sit down and edit videos. I upload all of these videos to Dropbox, and then they all sync up. I go back home. All the videos are there, so that way I don't have to mess with taking the camera, taking the SD cards, and transporting them and losing them and doing all that stuff. But then I'll sit there and I may have 6 hours of footage to go through to try to chop it down into a 15-minute video. And I'm not the only person that has this problem. 90+% of the YouTubers that are out there, they have the same problem, but they make it work. They have all of this footage and they can truncate it down into, 15-minute videos. And if they can do it, I can do it. So I'll have that day where I can sit there and I can do the video editing and then get that rendered out. Hopefully I'll be able to do 2 or 3 videos worth of editing in that one day, render them all out, and then, schedule them to go online. And so that would be able to provide more content to you. There may be some re-uploaded videos coming in the future. I have a great deal of footage that I would say I'm more competent now in how to edit that footage together to make it look better, to make it flow better, and to be able to cram more of it in a shorter period of time or in the same amount of time so that it makes a lot more sense. And so I may go back and look at some of the videos from 2017 and 2018 and recut those videos, maybe call it a director's cut of a video, and be able to put those up there for you. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming. Hopefully it all works out. I'm going to try. I'm going to put, my best effort into it, give it my A game, and we'll see what happens. There's a few other things that I want to do that I've discussed with my wife recently. And for right now, I'm going to kind of hold on to those. I don't want to put it out there in the universe and then, tomorrow on my timeline, I see that exact video or video style or, series of videos just plopping out. So I want to kind of keep that under wraps, but suffice it to say, I think it'll be entertaining to quite a lot of people. And I think it'll have a broader audience that it will appeal to. And so we'll see. Yeah, we'll just have to see. So that's my update for this week. I'm going to finish off this video here. Hopefully this mic has actually picked up my voice well enough to, not have to do a lot of audio editing, which can take a great deal of time. But yeah, so that's the week. That's what's going on. And I will see you all on the next video.
If you like these videos and you want to stay up to date with us, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. You can also visit us at vikingblooded.com and facebook.com/vikingblooded and patreon.com/vikingblooded. As always, stay safe and have fun.
I'm not really happy with this video though. I'll tell you that. Ah, it sucks taking a couple of weeks off because then you're out of practice and it's not scripted. It's, you know, stream of consciousness more or less. So yeah, fun.